Coming to you from the gym office. Testing again. I'm pretty sure it's just because when I put my mic on, this faces out. And so I'm sure that doesn't sound as good as with this facing in. So I'm going to see if I can make sure that I angle that nicely. And that you can hear me. Testing. I'm going to just have a little dig at my friend every morning now with my audio, just to check, to make sure, one, that he's watching, and two, to see if it's working. I do hope it's working. Cheers. Happy Tuesday. We have 4 more days of filming until we are done before mountains. I'm so excited. This week has definitely been very tough not to prematurely switch off. Especially when the 3-week gap is quite a large gap to get yourself prepared for. But to be honest, I think this is the first time I felt the least amount of stress going into this trip. Not stress in the sense that the trip is stressful, just stressed in the sense that when you want to make sure that clients are 3-4 odd weeks ahead of stuff, sometimes their schedules don't always work. But hey, it's one of those things where it's like you prepare as best you can. That's really all you can do, and the rest is for post-mountain Maja to figure out. And especially with what's been shifting at the moment, and honestly, stepping on the gym floor a couple of months ago has already changed the trajectory of where some of my projects are going, where I feel my focus is going. Can you hear that, Nickelback? You probably can't. Now I'm rocking out to something that you can't hear. I've been really enjoying some of the tunes that have been coming on in the gym. It's quite tough not to just rock out on the gym floor and turn it into a full-on karaoke session. Crazy. It's amazing how quickly things can change. I think that's something considering how often, it's going to annoy me now that I feel like I have to speak straight into it. Considering how often I've changed my life, I've done new projects, I've gone to new things, I've moved to new places, I've moved to locations, it's still always in the doing of it that there's a lot up in the air and that there's a lot of unknown, and it does feel scary at the time. But I keep saying to myself, and I used to keep saying to myself, like, what is the other alternative? Because that fear at some point, surely you have to turn around and be like, it is more scary to think of staying here than it is to actually just go and try. End up failing so badly that I lick my wounds and I have to come back and start here, if not lower. Like, I even remember that when I was struggling to let go of the alcohol and let go of the cigarettes and all of that sort of stuff. And it was just, I had to remind myself as well. I was like, this option is always here. Being broke, being stuck, being, not taking care of yourself, not wanting to look at that side, that option is always there. Like, you can always come back. You can always go and drown yourself at the bottom of a bottle. You can always go and smoke a pack of cigarettes to make you feel better. But the trying of the alternative and the choosing something different actively for long enough to see that it sticks, like, it's not even that long. That's what blows my mind. Like, what my clients have achieved in the last 8 weeks of just commitment, and that's not even everyday commitment. It's not like they're training every single day. They're training to max 3 times a week, weight training. 3 times a week. Like, yes, that's more than a lot of people do in a month, but it's not a lot, God. Like, I think that's what blows my mind more and more as I retreat and jump back in and retreat and jump back in and play this little game of am I gonna, am I not with myself. And it just gets to the point where you're kind of like, the benefits of taking care of yourself far outweigh the benefits of not. That if you say, You want to be your own boss. You want to live your own life. You want to be autonomous. You don't want people to be telling you what to do. You don't. There comes a point where you have to realize then that it is on you to make sure that the money is flowing, that you are in a state of creativity, that you are being taken care of so that you are at peak of experiencing your spidey senses so that you can create and build and be of service at your highest capabilities for people and at the highest capabilities that you know how right now. I think that's the crazy thing. The baseline is train, drink water, eat, clean. Get your mind unclogged. Get your mind unfoggy. Unfoggy? That was hilarious. My little sister and I, one time, we were coming back in a cab from a night out, and there's an area where we used to live that goes up the hill and then down to where we are. Then it goes up past the cricket club. And for some reason this night, the mist, the fog, had like come in and settled at the top of this hill. And we were driving through, and this taxi driver, he had the thickest glasses. It was hilarious. Driving up like this on the front of his, it was one of those like stop-start taxi drivers, those tough ones. And we were talking about how crazy the fog was, and he just goes, yeah, very foggy, like fairyland. And that has stuck with us ever since. Story you didn't need to know. Cheers, Tammy. But yeah, life is heavy when you're expecting doom and gloom. Life feels heavy when you are stuck in that constant state of survival. It does feel heavy. You are distracted. So, and I mean, it even got to a point where I had to say to myself as well, I was like, well, if you think you're so clever, why are you still stuck where you are? Because that was one of my favorite Naval Ravikant quotes. It was like, the smartest people in life get what they want out of it. And we all want different things. That's the crazy part as well. Like, it's so insane. I mean, I'm even catching myself now as we're about to head to this mountain trip, and as I sort of review where my current offers are, where my current clients are at, what I'm doing, where my attention is, where my focus is, and what I actually want to beeline on when I get back. And it's amazing to me how even doing the brave steps, they only get you so far. You have to keep being brave. You have to keep showing up. You have to keep doing the harder things. You have to keep picking the bigger goals. You have to keep realizing that what you're going to be capable of in the next 8 weeks, if you keep showing up and doing those reps, is something that you can't even quite fathom right now. I think that's even what's been really fun about seeing some of these ladies on the gym floor, is they are literally saying to me, for the first time in their lives, they are hitting a certain weight goal, which has changed their perspective of themselves, of training, of what's possible. My one lady did banded pull-ups the other day. She said she went to the park, and her husband were, playing around, and she decided to pull up and do a little monkey bar thing, and she was able to pull up at the little top bit to do a chin up, and so we did banded pull-ups. She was squealing with excitement. This woman's now managed to put in her resignation at a job that she's been working for 10 years and threatening to leave for the last 3. She spends 8 weeks on the gym floor, and she's confident enough to put in her resignation. There is something about deciding to raise the standard for yourself, of yourself, that I guess signals to the universe as well that you're ready to play bigger. It was that one visual, I can't remember who I heard talking about it, but it was a podcast I was listening to. I can't remember if the person was a medium, or if they were a psychic medium, or if they had one of the clairs or something, but regardless, she was just describing how your spirit team, your angels, your guides, they're all waiting for you on the sidelines. And it's almost like they're watching you sit on the sofa. And as you're sitting there going, oh, I don't know what to do, send help, they're literally yelling at you going, move, and then we can help. Like, you have to do something. You have to get the ball rolling. And that's why so many people say, start with your fitness and start with your health. Because at least if you can get the ball rolling on that, it proves that you are seriously committed to doing something with your life. And what's crazy is that it doesn't even have to be that big of a commitment or that big of a deal. That's what's nuts. Like, even just going for walks, even just going for this, like, I look at the walls around here and I look at the transformations and stuff that people, like, it doesn't have to be this hectic, kill yourself in the gym. This is what I've talked about before as well, with this, like, this difference between hustle and finding something that you can laser in on, that your focus and your discipline just shift into a different gear. The same way that it did when we signed up for that High Rocks event. It wasn't that suddenly I was 150%, obsessed with training, but it was the fact that I'd made the decision to do the event, that it became important enough to me to carve out that time in my day, in my week, and to make other decisions that were beneficial to that goal in other areas of my life, bar just training. And it's that. And I think this is where that crazy thing of feeling like you have to sacrifice all this stuff, it's like, it's not a sacrifice when you can see it. It doesn't feel like a sacrifice. It feels the sacrifice. That's the word. Maurice and King Julian. It's good sacrifice. I always say it in that voice when I come to say it. But it's like, I've always hated that because it's never felt like a sacrifice when the goal makes sense to you and when you're getting excited about putting in the reps because you can see how they're affecting the outcome. Like, it's just not the same. And that's not saying that there aren't sacrifices that have to be made in order to pursue one's dreams. But I feel like it's less of a sacrifice and more of a saying yes to and it's not even a saying yes and saying no. It's just not now. Like, this is at the forefront. This is a priority. This is a focus. It definitely all ties into the where why do I always butcher this one? Where energy goes, focus, where focus goes, energy flows, where attention goes, energy flows. Put your focus on the thing that you want to move. Anyway, it's Tony Robbins one. But yeah, man, we overcomplicate it. It's simple. We are hilarious creatures. But if we are not fed it properly, if we are not slept well, if we are not moving our bodies, what you're dealing with is so much crap if you can't clear that baseline. And it is so much easier to get yourself to go to a gym or to a run or to a this than to try and forcefully think your way out of a situation that is going to put you into that desperation loop cycle of trying to grasp things or, wanting the next thing to be the one that makes you millions. And it's like, this thing has to work but the next thing has to work. And it's that, like, it's the condition. It's the things being conditional. It's if this doesn't work, I'm going to give it up. Or if this has to be the one thing, otherwise it's not worth it. And it ties back into that it's not one thing. But if you are gonna isolate the biggest bang for your buck in terms of a place to start when you don't know where you're supposed to be starting and you don't know what you're fully capable of, Project Fitness. Project do something. Why do you think people do all these marathons and stuff? And I'm not recommending you do a marathon. You have to figure out what makes sense for you. I'm not saying you have to go do a High Rocks. I'm not saying you have to go run a 5K. You have to whatever. But something that is a fitness goal that you actively pursue for long enough to also realize what it takes, because this is where you get so many little shits going, oh, lucky for you, or oh, I just want this, but I don't want to do any of the work to get it, but I expect all the results for the half-ass effort or for the zero effort that I'm prepared to put in, but why don't I have it? Yeah. Something I've prided myself on, and I think my clients enjoy about me, is I see through the work that they've done to get where they are. Like, I don't overlook those reps. And in my mind, I then times it by 100, because if I can see it from the surface of what it took to get there, the sheer volume of crap that they've had to deal with in the back end or behind the scenes that nobody else is ever going to see, know, or understand. The You choose this life. You definitely choose this hard. And I am forever grateful for choosing this hard over accepting a life of fate or just being bogged down by that hamster wheel and feeling. I'm just so grateful that I've always realized that that was never the game that I wanted to play. Even when I had my spine injury and I entered into the workforce, my entire goal was to get out and to get independent again and to be working freelance and to have my own clients and to have my own schedule and to never have to check in with anybody again. And this year I realized how much more I was still hiding. I was still dragging my feet. I was still not fully trusting my capabilities. This has been a massive project for me. Getting myself out there, doing these reps, getting on camera, figuring out how the audio works, but doing it unconditionally, and again, even realizing that I hit my 100 videos. I know I've found something now that I can enjoy and I can put out. So there we go. Now let's get some traffic to it. Now let's start shouting it from the rooftops. I've said it before, and I will say it to my clients, and I will say it to everybody that I'm working with. You have to stand behind what you are selling and peddling 110%. Otherwise, it doesn't fucking work, especially as a personal brand, especially if you're doing affiliates, whatever it is you're selling. If you don't believe in the shit that you're selling, it is a moot point. It really is. You're going to end up going through a shitty cycle of churn, and it's all going to end up back in the same place of you needing to find something else to put your ass behind and to get yourself moving. And this is where the sidekicks help. I can't do that part for you. I can brainstorm. We can come up with ideas. That's what my strategy sessions are for. And I love them so much, because that awareness of, oh, that's actually possible, or oh, my whack-a-mamie idea actually can fit into one of those business funnels where you actually just realize it's the offer, you got to put it in front of your people, and as long as there's a payment link, we have our 8-ball shot ready to be lined up. The charts reveal, if you are a personal brand, what, especially for me, the biggest key is the marketing stuff that my sisters managed to pull out of those charts. How people view you and the way that you are designed to actually initiate some of these conversations, that really helps me. And again, you can program them with your sidekicks, with your bots, because then that helps them keep it in your frame. And it doesn't take you away from something that you are more naturally inclined to do. And people are going to be more naturally drawn to you if you create that style of content. So yeah, that give and take. But I'm so excited when I get back. The bots are going to be my biggest focus. This was the tech that I wanted 2 years ago. This was the tech I wish had been available for my clients back then. And I started them. I got out of the mentor group, and I am jumping back into the mentor group when I get back, because I also realize where my downfalls are. I need help. I need to figure it out, and I want to be working and building with people who have done it and with people who know how these bots operate, because my last thing is to feel like I'm not keeping a good enough net, but also a wide enough net on my bots that it's not hindering my clients. But I want to make sure that the copy and the frameworks and the storytelling stuff, one, they're up to date and they're the things that are working, but two, all of it is keeping the human at the center of the business. And it is not forcing you to go into a direction that doesn't fit what it is you are trying to build. These guys are designed to elevate, to pull out your story, and to help you create marketing copy that can only be yours. that can only be yours because it pulls it from you, your experience, your reps, your life, and then spins that into your offers, your copy, your emails, your captions, and everything else that just helps with the heavy lifting of the day-to-day marketing that has to happen in order for you to get clients and get leads that you want, that are aligned, that aren't rocking up for a discount. Ugh, anyway, I've just realized the time. I'm going to get myself ready for my client, finish my coffee, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Wednesday, probably going to be in here again. The rain's coming, so that's why I didn't sit out on the pier again this morning. 3 more days. 3 more days of these episodes. And then, like I said, I think while I'm away, I will probably be doing little shorts. I might bring, I might bring my microphones. I probably will bring my microphones. I might not do a setup like this, but if I do, it'll be a mountain edition, which will be fun. Yeah, let's see. No pressure. I've taken the pressure off myself for this. 3 weeks, holiday, away, agency stuff's covered, my clients know I'm going, catching up with all of them this week. And yeah, it's mountain time. It's mountain time. I'll see you guys tomorrow.